Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to some more Mr. Robot at a slightly different camera angle. I don't know if I like it this way, but I guess we will all discover this together. So, we have to continue after last week's depressing end. I'm still not over it, still not over what happened. I really did not expect to lose Shayla, specifically in such a grim and early way. Like it, I don't know, it affected me. I was knocked for six, was not expecting it, and now we have to keep going. Now we have to continue this journey without her, and I think that it's going to lead Elliot to a dark place. Obviously, amongst everything that was going on, Shayla seemed to really be a part of what was in his life that kept him grounded and focused on the good things, and now that's been removed. So now he's just surrounded by Angela, who's off on a mission, and they don't really have like time for one another right now. And you've got the Mr. Robot crew, including Mr. Robot, who's in his head. We stick to this narrative until I'm proven utterly wrong. But he's got that going on. So I don't know. I'm scared for what Elliot's gonna do now, but got me hooked. It did its job, I guess. So I'm guessing this next episode is gonna be kind of dealing with the fallout of all that and whatever they're going to do about the Dark Army not helping them with their mission. Who knows where this is going to go now. But before we jump in, please remember to hit the thumbs up if you enjoy the reaction and the review of the episode that happens afterwards. Also consider subscribing and supporting the channel that way to make sure you don't miss any future content and get notified, all of that good stuff. There are links below for other things that I make, including Twitch, TikTok. There's a Discord server. It's all fun stuff. It's all fun. So if you like this stuff, maybe consider hanging out over there as well. It'll be a good time. It'll be good to see you. But for now, let's face up to this and see where we're going. I'm slightly dreading it and anxious, but we got to do it. We got to do it. So let's go. Oh, it's just a nice sunny day. Let's just move on from the death and emotional trauma we've all been through. Or are we flashing back? We might be flashing back. I think we're flashing back to when she moved in.
My niece gave him to me. I haven't even named him yet. God, do you know the pressure?
The fishy.
Yeah, nice setup. I still like mine better though.
She just came in here, made herself at home.
Will you help me move the dresser? Mr. Muscles? Okay, come on. Just come on.
Oh, it's gonna suck when she isn't in this anymore. Oh, this wrecks. This is wrecking me.
Buy morphine from you. If you could also get me Suboxone.
Saw this song live once. It was so rad. Was everyone going nuts around you?
No.
Direct. Respect that.
I love it. Oh, I love that awkward friendship so much. Oh.
If you were to really like one person, it'd be like considered an aberration, special even. Well, I aim for special, so challenge accepted.
Oh, it's so cute. It's so adorable. Why you're tearing my heart into pieces, Show. Stop it. Stop.
Did you know of a guy who sells Suboxone? He's supposed to be a fucking psychopath, but if you want, I can call him. You might be worth a psychopath. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, no. He's gonna blame himself. That's where it's going. Oh. I mean, he's gonna blame himself anyway, but... Oh, and she blurs out. Thanks, Show. Thank you so much for this.
So that's Shayla. A blip. Here one blip, gone the next.
She was more than a blip, goddammit, Elliot.
Then she'll become an anecdote. A thing to say. I knew a girl that died, with the added bonus of she died because of me. She's getting rid of me, in case you're still trying to figure that out. Once I...
Sign on the bottom.
Oh man, he's losing everyone who keeps him on solid ground. God damn it. If this goes through, it might not go through.
Because I believe some part inside of you wants to do this right.
You? Are you on her side?
Yes. Yes, I am on her side. You need someone, Elliot Bud. You need someone who keeps those feet on the ground. You're losing all of them at the moment.
I'm not some joker come out of the woodwork trying to scam Colby for millions. I'm giving him the only glimmer of hope he's had.
We'll pass along your offer. Thanks for your time.
Anyone who needs, like, fucking 10 lawyers, they're up to some shady shit, you know? Like, he does, like, an army of them.
Find someone you can be your honest self with. Okay?
He's gonna drive him right into Mr. Robot. That's what's gonna happen.
View source. What if we had that for people?
I love how simple this is. I love let's just put boards around their necks rather than doing like a fancy graphic. I love it.
If we can talk to White Rose directly.
White Rose? White Rose, really? No way he's meeting you face to face. For all we know, this dude's White Rose. Excuse me.
Yeah, just keep saying it out loud. I'm sure it's a smart thing to do. Into the graveyard she goes, I guess.
This is all I have left of her.
Is that important? Is that important? The dog ate it! The dog's eating it! Oh my god. What the fuck's gonna happen with that?
I heard that some assistants, they're going gay to move up the ladder.
I'll do you one better. There's a special handful of pathetically desperate execs going cog jockey.
No.
These guys are all the worst. Just the absolute worst.
You'll never be able to afford that tuition and unemployment.
Sorry?
You're fired!
Let out some of that rage. And you know what? You may be a douchebag yourself, Tyrell, but that guy is also the worst.
You too as well.
Yep.
I'm making sure you all receive the minimum severance package.
Just a show, just a flex. Just a flex on some dickheads, basically. Interesting to see Tyrell, who is also a dickhead. Just be like, I can't stand other dickheads. Get rid of them.
Colby agreed. With a caveat. I can't be in the room.
See how this plays out, I guess. She can do it. I have faith, Angela. You got this.
Not this time. I'm out.
You can't be out. We need you.
What was our little project in the end, anyway? Wasted shit, if you ask me.
Now you're borderline pissing me off. You and I both know I'm crazy. Not the cute kind either. I'm talking crazy, crazy! We lost touch. Got the feeling of spilling blood on the battlefield but winning the fight.
I don't know if this is how you win someone over. I don't know if this is the right way.
Just wanted you to come back to the arcade with me so we could change the world together.
At gunpoint.
Clearly too crazy for you to say no to.
Is that how that works?
You gave me your word when we started this thing that you'd finish it. I gave you my word what I'd do if you didn't.
I'm still saying that these scenes are all Elliot in a different persona. I'm still sticking with that. I don't care how much the show's trying to take me off that scent. That's what I'm going with.
Were you in the room when the decision was made to ignore the treatment of hazardous waste in Washington Township?
He's not gonna answer these questions unless you have something to offer, right?
If you agree to testify against the executives who covered up the illegal dumping of epoxy resin waste, I will testify that I broke chain of custody with a DAT file central to your case.
You're that hot little thing that came by here a month ago.
Oh my god, this dude is like the worst. As twice he hasn't recognized her. Twice!
I'm gonna answer your question. But here's what I need from you first. And then I'm gonna need you to take that pouty mouth of yours and swallow up my balls. Now.
If you don't take this deal, you'll become like me. People will still think that you're guilty. Losing everyone's respect. It's a shitty feeling.
I think that might work. I think that might work.
I'll have the girl let me out.
Yeah, Angela. Yeah, Angela. Put that knife in. Dig it in deep. I think that might work. He seems like someone who, you know, wants to be respected by people, even though he's a shitheel, but I think that will work.
I was only trying to prove...
Colby's lawyer's just called. He wants to talk.
Hey.
Get back there.
Hey, that was quick. Things are moving in the right direction for once.
I went to my box and found the IP, then you joined their channel with my handle. I don't want to see you again.
Okay, no worries, bud. No love lost.
I don't know what the meeting's actually going to be on. I tell you to be careful, but I know that's the last thing you're going to be.
Wow, we're 2 for 2. We're 2 for 2. Things going well, apparently. Well, actually, let's maybe wait until we get to the result, because it might not go right.
Tell me about the one when they decided to ignore the leak. What was the meeting like when you decided this?
Like, did we all have cigars and laugh hysterically as we signed the evil documents? Is that what you pictured? So Elaine brought us a platter of shrimp cocktail to tide us to dinner, which pissed us off because we just had a platter at the holiday party. Jim opened the bar. Now, Jim, you know, it rained. It rained, I remember that.
You were drunk, eating shrimp cocktail, and it was raining when you decided my mother would die?
Pretty evil. It was, yep, pretty much like exactly like, exactly like you described it. A bunch of dudes having a great time signing evil documents.
Did any of it ever give you or anyone pause?
Yeah, sure. But then you go home and you have dinner, you know, and you wake up the next morning.
The world keeps spinning, and you don't give a shit about the evil thing you just did. It's like the opposite of what Elliot's talking about losing Shayla. Like, how long do I keep caring for as the world keeps spinning and I keep going, and it just becomes a memory? The same, but the opposite.
I hear you shared our moment with your husband.
Come on, that was over a month ago. Don't tell me you're still sore.
Man, be salty. He's super salty about it.
Come to my office now.
Are you really asking me that?
I don't recall phrasing it as a question, no.
Then I just won't show up.
Then the roof. Take the back stairwell. Cameras have been out since March.
Oh, the roof. The roof is so romantic. Fucking Tyrell. Man does not let things go, does he?
Once this confession goes public, no one will want to do business with us. You do this, all these people go down.
You want to change the world, Angela. It does mean breaking a few eggs along the way. Sadly. People are gonna get hurt in the crossfire, but I don't know. Fingers crossed, I guess.
My husband's downstairs getting the job that you want, and you're up here trying to fuck me. Now, whether that's you...
Hasn't exactly gone to plan for him, has it?
You seem desperate.
Well, that's one way of handling that, I guess. Man's just continuing the strat of I will fuck my way to where I need to be. Well, is he going murder? Is he going... He's going full murder! He's going murder! He's going murder time! The plan has changed. The plan has changed! How's this gonna help? How's this gonna help, Tyrell? I don't know what you're doing here. Okay. Apologies, this is probably all muted for you guys because of copyrighted song, but... What a weird song to be playing. Oh, and it stops. There we go. The music stopped. Yeah, Tyrell. Now what do you do? Now what do you do? Your anger just getting the better of you today, I guess? What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do now? Is he gonna Like, throw her off the roof and then say it was a suicide? That's the only way he gets out of this. My God, he is a lunatic. He runs off like a little creature, like, ah.
You didn't care if pushing a button would bring an economic revolution. You want momentary anarchy.
What sport you want?
You don't care.
I'm interested. I want to know why you're in it.
My dad works 60-hour weeks to determine tax loopholes for a millionaire art dealer. My mom, she ran up loans into 5 digits to get an online degree, but they're gonna die in debt, doing things they never wanted to do.
Yep. Okay, got it. I get it.
We have what we've worked for right there for the taking. We just need each other to see this through.
Getting the band back together. Man, this episode has really just been people convincing other people to do things in their best interest. Like, a lot of that has been going on. Alright. Elliot, are we gonna maybe open up a little bit? Just a little bit. Just a smidge. Just talk about some shit that's been going on a little bit.
Everything I say will still be protected and confidential.
Alright. We doing this?
You bought a tall hazelnut latte. Paid for it on your Evil Corp card. And by text, you justified the indulgence to your sister because Evil Corp gives you double rewards.
Elliot, maybe I know this is your way of talking about yourself by exposing yourself, but I don't know if you want to do this.
I sometimes watch you on your webcam. You cry sometimes, just like me. Because you're lonely. I don't just hack you, Krista. I hack everyone. My friends, co-workers.
He has a problem that needs to be addressed.
I want a way out of loneliness.
Please work. Please work. Please don't push her away. Dear God.
Is that what you wanted to hear?
Oh my God. Ugh. I mean, it was the truth. It was, oh my God, you can't do this to me, show. Stop ending on these bombshells where I'm like, what's gonna happen now? Stop it. Stop it. Well, I was gonna say this episode was a pretty, like, laid back, just people dealing with the grief and the change of dynamics as this month has gone past, and then we get murder most foul. We get Elliot just outing himself to his therapist there. Too much. And we're obviously now just in a place of, is she just gonna kick his ass out, or is she going to recognize this is him exposing himself and being honest about himself and try and help him? I don't know. I mean, she's well within her rights just to be like, okay, fuck you, dude. Get out of here. I'm gonna call the police. Like, I mean, it's supposed to be confidential. I get it, and that's why he asked. But, like, go on now. I would say she's well within her rights to say, this lunatic has been spying on me through a webcam and hacking everything that I do. Like, but hopefully she's empathetic enough. I think she is, that she'll be able to see that he is recognizing it, that is a problem, and how he copes with his own emotional turmoil, and that she can help him, maybe, hopefully. I don't know. But in terms of the rest of the episode, it did seem to have this kind of themage of obviously living with choices that you've made. And, you know, you had Elliot here, we had a flashback showing how Shayla and him first met, that it was basically directly him that put her in contact with the crazy Looney Tune guy who ended up killing her, and he's going to blame himself for that. Then he was going on to say, you know, will this grief last? Will she just become this anecdotal memory that won't mean as much anymore? Obviously, I've got the further guilt of it was my fault that it happened. But will she just be this blip in my past? And it's kind of the same thing that Colby was talking about. It was a choice that we made in 1993, but then, you know, we had this moment, a pause for thought, but then life keeps going, the world keeps spinning, and you just get on with life, and that choice doesn't seem to matter anymore. So that really seemed to be the theme of this whole episode. And obviously we had that with Tyrell as well, and he's just committed to a murder that I don't know how exactly is going to help him, but it could have just been him dealing with the choice he made back at that dinner party, and this is how he's chosen to deal with it, and it's going to be a shit show. I don't know. I do not know. It's it's a mess is what it is. Also, great to kind of out myself as a psychopath, I guess, by saying, hey, the only way you're covering this up is if you throw her body off the building and say it was a suicide. Like, I don't know what else he's going to do. I don't know what else he's going to do. Just woman throttled and strangled. Oh, I wiped my fingerprints off of her. But, like, did she do it to herself? Did she strangle herself? Or, like, there are only so many suspects there, and, you know, her husband kind of knows that the two of you had a thing going on, so I don't know. I just do not know how he's going to play that off to his own hand. I do not know, unless he can somehow swing it that the dude, her husband, who's now got the job he wants, killed her. Like, says that she was unsatisfied with him, they had an argument, and then he killed her. That's the only thing I can think of. And now I think about it, maybe that's the way it's going to go. Angela, forging her own path forwards, is starting to realize when she goes forward with this, it's going to have consequences, both the consequences that she seeks that it will have, but also it can also hurt innocent people in the crossfire when you seek to change the world like this. When you admit to a mistake you made, it might not only affect you, it can affect other people around you. Or, I mean, I don't know, it's hard to say at this point, because it was her mistake that she wants to own up to. We don't know if that will affect the whole company. The guy's just kind of assuming that it will do, but I guess that's because, you know, they were kind of reliant on Evil Corp to keep in operation. So that's the thing. That's a part of changing the world, but a part of getting rid of this massive, powerful company that controls nearly everything. The trickle-down effect of that is going to hurt innocent people as well. And it's a matter of weighing those choices up, and is it worth committing to it, I guess. I mean, I guess that's what we're going to see her wrestling with as she goes through this process. Obviously, I'm saying all these things, but based on how the show has gone thus far, you know, this is only season 1, and we've had so many curveballs that have just changed the trajectory of things, where you think they should be going, and then it's just been like, oh wait, well that completely changed the dynamic, now we've got to do this instead. And, you know, that could apply to literally everything that just happened in this episode. We also have the seed of the dog ate a piece of Elliot's computer, something that presumably has something to do with Shayla or someone else to do with Shayla, and it could be used against him in some way. I mean, that has to come back. Why seed the fact that the dog has eaten it and that eventually it will be passed through? There's not just going to be a case of the dog passes it and then Elliot gets it back and then destroys it. That would be too simple. Something bad's going to happen with that. Like, there's no way that it doesn't. Same goes with his CD graveyard that he's got there. Like, that's clearly going to be something that gets him caught out, because why call so much attention to the fact that he has it unless it's going to blow up in his face at some point? Or, I guess, if I want to be slightly less pessimistic, it could come in handy for something else. I kind of liked that Shayla went under the Cure. I don't know what the song is. I'm not familiar with the Cure's backlog of songs, but I just took it as, you know, her disc being called The Cure was kind of a poetic way of saying how she would help him in a lot of situations, especially emotional situations. So that was a nice touch. I might have to go and look up the song, I guess, to see if there's some relation there with that. We do, however, have a meeting of the Dark Army to look forward to. That's been spinning up and putting forward, so I'm assuming something's happened within this month time jump that has got the Dark Army maybe thinking they could use F Society for something and maybe help them out with the plan. I'm guessing we're going to get more into that as we go, but they're agreeing to the meetup. I can only assume that they want something from F Society again, and maybe they're planning on trying to use them and double cross them again, but this direct meeting seems to make it feel more serious. If it is going to be a direct meeting, like they're willing to expose their actual selves to each other. So that's going to be interesting. But with that, it was kind of nice getting to see a little bit more of the Mr. Robot crew and why they were doing the F Society thing in the first place. I mean, it seemed like the one guy was just there because he's too scared of the Mr. Robot personality. That's what he is. It's Elliot. I'm still sticking with that. He's just like, this guy's too crazy, I can't say no to him. That seems to be his whole motivation. I don't know if I guess it would freak you out into, if I don't do this, this guy's going to do something, and I do not want to be on the receiving end of that. And then we got Darlene and Sunita, I think her name is. They're talking about why they got into it, and you know, Sunita's case, it was a very, you know, I get it. My family came here looking for a better life, and then we got fucked out of our money. My parents are going to die in debt, and it sucks. It sucks, and I want to change it so other people do not have to go through that experience and live their lives that way. So, you know, all makes sense. I get it. That is the grind of, especially, you know, the Western world, and it keeps going that direction, it seems like, in real life. This show is very... I feel like the show is getting more and more relevant. But I mentioned in a previous video that the show must have been coming out around the time when everyone was becoming very aware of these things and started questioning them and all of that stuff. And it sadly just seems to be becoming more and more relevant as we go along. So yeah, it's hitting some important things that are worth expressing through an artistic form such as this. I will just talk about the opening flashback. Oh, it's broke me. I was expecting it to like hard cut to her body again, and it didn't do that. It did the much more classy thing of having the sort of blurring fade effect as the title came up and she walked off into the distance, which was more heartbreaking for it. I think maybe a lesser show would have gone for the shock value of a hard cut to her body being buried or some such. But I kind of liked that it was just like this blur off, because it was more sad that way, and it represented the theme of the episode of memories of choices and consequences, and how long do they stay like vivid in you, and when do you start to let go of them. It was a nice visual touch to the overall theme of the episode. But the flashback itself was just heartbreaking. It was all sunny and nice, and it was the beginning of a beautiful relationship between two outcasts of society just looking for something better. And why Shayla? Why? I hope we get more of Shayla, like just little snippets. Give me something. I need that innocent pureness sometimes in this show. I need that levity. And I'm scared that it's not going to be there anymore. We're just going to have Tyrell shagging people in horrible ways or murdering them, Elliot going off the deep end. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the overall episode, apart from, you know, the murder, it was a much more laid back, just people breathing. It's just this big old breathing room episode until we got to the very last few minutes there. Which it was a nice change of pace, and I think it's kind of needed after you have such a ramped up tension filled episode. You need that release valve to happen, but then again switches and then tighten you back up again by the end of the episode. Oh yeah, we're in a very awful high stakes situation where people are doing awful things. I guess Tyrell's reaction to his murder was interesting in that he committed it, and then he was just like distraught at the fact that he'd committed it, and it's kind of hard to tell if it was just his rage getting the better of him and he took it out on her and this wasn't what was supposed to go down and he's like panicked about that, or if he legitimately is like horrified by what he's done. Like it's very hard to tell. I'm gonna have to wait until the next episode, I guess, to sort of get a better glimpse into what that reaction was. But it was a more interesting reaction to it than him just being kind of cold about it, like we often see him being. You know, as I say, the most interesting part about Tyrell was every time his his mask kind of slips, and that just anger and pure emotional like rage and everything that he's got going on just starts slipping out, where he tries to keep this very cold and distant kind of personality mask on the whole time. In some ways he is a product of this corrupt system, and that obviously he's bad man needs taking out in some way, shape or form. But it's almost like it's trying to make a commentary about the fact that when you're in that machine, and that's kind of what you're encouraged to do, to keep chasing up higher up the ladder by any means necessary. And is it a problem with the guy, or is it a problem with the system that's in place that encourages this horrendous kind of behavior? You know, it's interesting. I like that he isn't just kind of two-dimensional evil company man, that there seems to be more going on there at face value, and I'm interested to see where that's going to go. There's still time for him just to be evil McEvilson, which he kind of is, but I feel like the performance is layering that, at least at the moment, so I'm interested to see where it goes. I also did really like the scene between Angela and Colby, because the scene where she was trying to get the answers out of him, he was finally going to release it, and he was like, what, you imagined us all sitting around smoking cigars laughing as we signed these documents? Ha ha ha, we're so evil, that's what you imagined. And then he goes on to tell her that we were drunk, eating fancy food, signing these papers, and he doesn't see it. He just doesn't see that what he's describing is exactly what she imagined. He just doesn't compute. Like the fact that he says it was raining, like that made it a bad day. Like that made it more emotional and real because it was raining, and he just doesn't compute. He does not compute that you guys were sat around drunk signing off people's lives, literally. You know, it's just a great demonstration of how a certain type of person in a certain position in life just doesn't think about these things, I guess. And when they're called out on it, they still can't accept what it is. You know what I mean? It just kind of reminds me of a quote from Doctor Who, funny enough, because, you know, Doctor Who's always in my mind. I think it's something along the lines of the same thing between the very stupid and the very powerful is that they don't change their views to fit the facts. They change the facts to fit their views. And this is that episode. It really came across in this episode, and obviously that's a bigger element of what this whole show is about in terms of people with power in wealthy positions and corruption, and, you know, all of that. It's just being demonstrated in this just ick, full on ick, and it's what makes you want to see F Society actually make a difference, see Angela make a difference. You know, you want them to push through and expose these people. So I'm invested. I'm still here for this. I'm really loving the show. I really liked that this episode took its time and release valved and then ramped things right back up again. So that's great. Great times for all. Thank you for watching this one, guys. If you enjoyed it, please press the thumbs up button. It helps me know you liked it. It helps it get seen by more people. Also subscribe, support the channel that way. Make sure you're checking out all the other content. But for now, thank you for watching. I will catch you on the next one.